Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 246 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news we watched or played over the week. This might as well be like a specials episode, as we'll get to here in a moment, but my name is Barry, along with my not indefinitely delayed co-hosts.
I was thinking about like delaying before saying anything. My name's Craig.
My name is also Craig. Just consider me a cow grinding on a power line.
Yeah, that was it.
All right,
Yep.
yeah, that's what they say. That is
Yep.
what they say.
That didn't hit me until I watched it at, like, the second time. Like, I watched the standalone trailer. I was like, oh, that's the cow from Moo Moo
Yeah.
Ranch.
Yeah. Okay. That's what we're doing. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. There's too many racers now, just like too many fighters in Smash.
Yep.
But much like our news, there's too much of it centered around Nintendo.
Yeah.
But that is what happened this week. I have all of the breakdown for it, and I have a little timeline.
Yep.
For us all here. So I guess we'll get into the news. I just don't know how to break it down.
I don't know,
Nintendo.
there's so much Nintendo.
Yep.
Like this is like an unofficial, like just Nintendo-esque
Yep.
episode.
So here's what I'll do. I will go over all of my notes.
Okay.
And then we can just bounce around from what we want to talk about afterward. I'm just going
Let's
to
do it.
rapid fire this stuff for people who did not watch it. All right. So we got the Switch 2. The release date is June 5th, 2025. It is confirmed, and the price /was $449.99. Pre-orders were to begin April 9th. It has been indefinitely delayed in the United States. The screen is an LCD screen that goes up to 1080p, up to 120 frames per second. Docked is a 4K display, still can do up to 20 frames a second, 120 frames a second. You will most likely get 60 FPS. There are mouse actions confirmed, and it is supported by NVIDIA, so it has DLSS, which is an AI upscaler. We also got Game Chat, a camera, a new Pro controller. The games announced first-party wise are Mario Kart Worlds, that's $90. Donkey Kong Bonanza, that's $70. Mario Party Jamboree TV is an expansion to the Switch 2 for Mario Party Jamboree. We got Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda upgrades for the Switch 2. You also get Zelda notes if you're interested in that. The upgrades are to cost about $10 to $15, but are free with the Nintendo expansion pass. We got Drag Drive, which is the mouse wheelchair basketball game. Kind of interesting. Didn't expect it, but okay. We got Kirby and the Forgotten Land DLC. Starcross Worlds exclusive to Switch 2. We got a Metroid Prime 4 trailer that will also be coming to Switch 1 and Switch 2. Pokemon Legends ZA will be getting a Switch 2 version. Some of these games are confirmed to be on Switch with the expansion pass. As I mentioned with the Zelda games, they have not confirmed anything yet. We also got a teaser for Air Riders.
Air Riders.
Let's see here. Switch 2 console K. I don't know what that means. Whatever. You do get new expanded storage in a micro SD Express card. The card that works for your Switch does not work for this.
Yes.
The upgrade list for games that are going to be upgraded on the Switch 2. These upgrades are free. We have ARMS, Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics, Game Builder Garage. We have Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, and Link's Awakening. We have New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will be getting an upgrade, and so will Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury and Super Mario Odyssey. Those are just the first-party games. I gotta get to third-party now.
Buckle in.
It's not a party without third party.
Yep.
Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, Hades 2, Bravely Default HD Remaster, Daemon X Machina, Titanic Scion. If I had to be honest, I was probably surprised.
Yeah.
I was surprised that we even got another one of those. I guess it succeeded. We got Split Fiction coming to it. We got EA Sports crap in the form of EAFC and Madden. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, Hitman's Word of Assassination, and a surprising and very lackluster tease for the new James Bond's game. There's really no tease about, just an announcement. Yakuza 0 and Street Fighter. We got a new Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment game.
Blech.
Deltarune chapters 1 through 4. We got a Civ 7 port, which I think is important, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. WWE 2K and NBA 2K will be coming to it. Survival Kids. Surprise, Hollow Knight Silksong exists, and it says 2025. We're going to
That
see
was
about
wild.
that.
But does it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wild Hearts S. The Dusk Bloods, a From Software game exclusive to the Switch. Pretty much looks
Multiplayer.
like, multiplayer. Pretty much just looks like Bloodborne 2 or inspired by it.
Mhm.
We
Right.
then have finally GameCube emulator is going to also be
Yes.
something that is exclusive to the Switch too. We got games like Fire Emblem, Pokemon XD, Guild of Darkness, and Coliseum, Wind Waker,
And
not the
yes.
remastered version, Soul
I know.
Calibur 2, F-Zero GX, and Mario Strikers, and you can get a wireless controller.
I just want you to know, everybody, to know that when they announced the GameCube, obviously it was Wind Waker, Soul Calibur were like the ones, but then when they were showing what was coming, I was very quick, but when Fire Emblem came across, I lived miles away and I could still hear Barry yelling.
Yeah.
He was that excited.
The
Right.
most expensive Fire Emblem
Yeah.
game. So it's one of those
Right.
things where even if it doesn't drive down the price, now you can play it and it's on the
Yep.
go. Did I forget anything? Oh, there's game chat. They're introducing a party chat into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Can
was
we-
that was a lengthy part of the trailer.
And game share subsequently as well. Did we talk
Yeah.
about that one already?
We
Oh wait,
talked
no, we
about
did.
it
We did last. We talked
Kind
about it
of,
last week.
yeah,
Yeah.
with the weird kind of digital thing.
Can we start with the game chat thing?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So, a couple of things that I just wanted to point out that I saw later. First of all, one, USB cameras work, so
Yeah.
you don't have to buy Nintendos.
Correct.
Second, did you guys find it odd that the best they could do was a laggy version in their video?
It did not look crisp.
It looked
Yeah, I
terrible.
don't know. Yeah, like that kind of feature is just like it's not for. I don't understand
It's
why
not
they
for
would
me.
show it off as much as they did.
Yeah.
Because they didn't look good, and they have to know it didn't look good.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
I like the idea because I mean it's just party chat. I don't need video.
mhm.
I
And
don't.
I saw the gimmick of them connecting it to games like Mario Party, Mario Kart, things like that. And I think there is a group out there for like I was talking to some friends about it, and like I just think maybe 9-year-old me, like let's say I was planning on going to a sleepover and then last minute my parents had to take me to, I don't know, a family member's house or something, and I was totally bummed out, but they were like, "You know what? Why don't you go upstairs, grab your Switch and the camera?" And then that way I could still feel like I'm at the sleepover. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here an idea of where that would work. It's not for 36-year-old Craig, I'll tell you that.
No, I mean I guess I'm excited that like we could finally all be in a party chat playing a Nintendo game.
And we don't
Like-
have to use our phones. 'cause
Correct.
It's stupid.
I
Right.
like that. But I don't ever see myself ever using the video unless it was like kind of like what they were trying to explain, like, oh, I can't do this one part. Be like, oh, let me pull up what you're playing right now and I'll show you or something.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but you can do
Right.
that on PlayStation as well. But
Yeah, for ages, you could
yeah.
do that already.
but at least they got game chat, right?
Right.
So, if I want to talk about anything, let's talk about also what kind of happened as well is Liberation Day from the United States came from everyone's favorite President Trump,
hmm
and how this kind of worked, and I'll explain it because I watched way too many videos on this weekend. Is Liberation Day, our fair president went ahead and started issuing tariffs amongst all the other countries because apparently we've been taken advantage of for the last decade and a half. What has now happened is Nintendo knew these tariffs were coming. They had production in Japan and China. They have now switched to producing it
switched.
in Korea. Korea, though, now has a tariff on their imported goods of 40%.
Mhm.
So while we were supposed to have pre-orders this week, April 9th, we now are in limbo because Nintendo claims that the reason this is indefinitely delayed is because they need to reassess the economic
Landscape.
landscape. That's the word I'm
Yes.
looking for. So when it's going to happen, we don't know. And it sucks for anybody who was excited for a Switch 2 just because, and Craig and I have kind of talked about it.
Mhm.
$449 is a lot for a Nintendo console. They've always been the cheaper of the PlayStation and Xboxes. So considering that this is only $50 cheaper and $50 more than the digital version,
Yep.
it is going to be hard to not only sell this if a price bump is going to be coming in, but now we've sort of seen that other countries are going out of pre-orders within minutes.
Mhm.
So is it going to be the same for the United States? Are scalpers going to pick it up as much as we think they are? I don't know.
I mean, I think because we've talked about it multiple times on this podcast that Nintendo foresaw not just scalpers but the popularity of this console. So I don't know, us here in the States are hopefully banking on the inventory being okay by the time pre-orders open up for the US, and I don't know what the price bump, or if there is a price bump, would do. I know that we're probably at some point in this podcast going to express whether that changes whether we pre-order it
Yep.
or not. But I don't know. It's uncertain times. I'll tell you what, it's unprecedented times. And it's, I think, a sign of the uncertainty of the gaming industry just with us. Because, like, when I see stuff like this, I wonder, what's Rockstar doing?
Yep.
Are they prepping? Because they have a launch of the most anticipated entertainment property, if I may be so bold to say.
Mhm.
We could say Wicked 2. Wicked 2 hasn't come out yet, but the most anticipated entertainment property is coming out later this year, according to them. And I wonder what they're thinking on their end, as well as other gaming developers who maybe have something dropping, maybe already have pre-orders listed. Like what's Metal Gear Solid Delta? What's Konami thinking? At the price range that they have here. So it just opens up a lot of questions. I know we're not a political podcast, so we're not going to
Right.
like center too much on the political aspect of it, but it is an interesting landscape, if I may use that word again, for the gamer, the people like us, the people who are listening and watching to this who play more than 5 games a year or 10 games a year. Like, financially, it's not the most inexpensive habit. And now this year, or at least this is the first, I guess, portion of this year where it's kind of showing that it might end up being that more expensive situation.
Yeah. I think like there's still a possibility that, he rolls it back, right? Rolls back the tariffs. That's a possibility. I do think it's funny that it was literally almost impossible for the younger generation. Like, I don't know about you guys, and again, we're not a political podcast, but like all around the entire country this weekend there was massive protests, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching some videos on those. And specifically, there was one where they were talking about how it was majority of the older generation. The younger generation was not out there. But I thought it was very funny that the younger generation in general does not care enough to protest. But the second you come after our video games, now we're pissed. You know what I mean? Like that's what it took. They may not raise the price on the console. They may just say, let's keep it where it's at. But you better believe that the price of the games is going to go up if that's the case. So
Right.
$90 right now for Mario Kart could turn into 100, 110, 120. And that could be the new standard, right? There was already rumors of Rockstar shooting for 100 on Grand Theft Auto 6. Maybe now it's 120, and we're
Right.
all going to pay it. Just like back in the day when I was a kid and you would go to Toys R Us, whether it was Super Nintendo, it was more so Super Nintendo than Sega, but you would look up at the wall and you would see, oh, this game's $49.99. The game I really want is Street Fighter 2 Tournament Edition, but it's $120. That was back in the 90s. And that was pretty commonplace for Nintendo to do that. So it's not new for Nintendo to charge more for their first party games. When you think about 120 in the 90s, what that is now, that's probably like 150, 160 bucks for Street
Right.
Fighter. But for me back then, that meant I never got those games because
Right.
my parents were not buying those. 50 was like the limit. So we could see that again. Donkey Kong was not 90, right? It was 70.
It was 70,
It was
correct.
70.
And I guess with like perfect segue into
Yeah.
like next part of this is that Mario Kart World
Yeah.
is rumored to be $90 physically, $80 digitally, and then bundled with the console, if you do math, it's about
Yeah.
50.
Right.
So
everybody's buying that one.
yeah,
Everybody's buying it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't know why we're doing tiers of why we're charging more for physical games,
because they don't want to
And
do
then-
physical anymore. Nobody does.
I do understand that.
It avoids
but again-
tariffs, right?
Yeah, digitally would avoid the tariff. Correct. Yeah,
Right.
And when you're bundling it with the game, you just include a download code for the slip, and that's
Right.
that's all it
Right.
costs.
Do you think
So
that's all it is? Is just
No.
them being like, we can't go fully digital because people would revolt. But what if we just start hiking up the physical price until people get so pissed that they just go digital anyway?
I
mean,
don't,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they're doing. Like my thinking here is, I do think that this Mario Kart, and the reason it's $90 is because this is going to be almost like a live service game, and I
Mhm.
think that's what they're going for here. Is that we will get added new tracks that, as long as you're part of the Nintendo expansion thing again,
Yep.
you're going to get those new tracks. You're going to get the new characters. You're going to get all this blah 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 blah. And I think that's why they are charging $90 and $80 digitally, respectively. And the only reason they're going to charge $50 when it's bundled with the Switch is because you've already bought into their ecosystem there.
Yep.
So that
Right.
will be the one that everyone goes for. But that is my thinking about why we're tiering this the way we are.
Mhm.
Right.
So what about third party?
So
What do we think
third-party
the price
games,
is?
yeah. So third-party games, I think it's going to depend. I think we're going to get between 70 and 60. There is no confirmation on the third-party prices.
Yeah.
Do you think they, especially with a lot of the third parties that are available Steam wise, do you think they become like that kind of competition digitally and then do their own thing with the physical aspect? You know, like I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Nintendo's digital footprint is garbage. Their store sucks. They never put anything on sale. It's terrible.
So like, yeah, but like my
Looks
question
better, though.
is,
It does look
yeah,
better on the new system.
It does.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like my question is like, if you are Nintendo, who can historically charge more for games, at least first party, if Civ 7 is $50 on Steam, do you charge $50 digitally on the Nintendo store, or do you make it 60
Probably 60.
just cuz like just because you're playing it with our new mouse feature, that, you know, like, cuz
Yeah.
that's my question of their business model going forward. Now that they have this mouse feature, games like that, like it's exciting
Mhm.
to see Frostpunk or Civ 7, Baldur's Gate, like things where you would be using mouses to be ported in. Like, not all those are confirmed. I'm just using examples of games you would normally play on Steam. But I don't know, where does the pricing come in? I don't know. I'm gonna start. It's gonna feel kind of like when we were kids, like you were talking about, Craig. Like, where there's gonna be some games I, Barry, pass on.
Yeah.
Because we're like, you know what, I don't want to spend that right now. Or I don't know, I buy it digitally and then I get it 3 years down the line when the physical copy doesn't cost that much or something. I don't know.
It's first party Nintendo though. They never put their games on sale.
Right.
Ever. Like, isn't
Right.
Mario Odyssey still $60? Game's 8 years old.
Yeah.
Still $59.99. I don't know. I don't want to completely hate. Like, I will say I was watching like the Metroid Prime thing, and switching from the Joy-Cons to mouse mode is so seamless.
Yeah.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Because I was very skeptical about the mouse thing, especially when they were like, oh, you can move up and down, but left and right is the gyro. I'm like, oh, that's going to work like crap. You know, like
Right.
it's not going to be accurate. But then seeing videos of people literally just flipping the Joy-Con down, and it just brings the reticle up on the screen for them, and they're just mouse and keyboarding it pretty much. I was like, you know what? Hats off to Nintendo. They figured out a way to make that work for sure.
Yeah. A lot of the feedback, and I know that we've watched our favorite content creators talk about it, because we have at least one that ended up at one of the I forget what the event was called.
Not
the
us,
event.
though. Not us.
Not
We didn't
us.
invite
Not
them.
Yeah,
us.
not us.
I actually lost all 3 of our invites. I got them at
Dang it.
my yeah.
Darn.
I dropped them in the rain. I'm sorry. But yeah, um, that was the most talked about jump, at least in the people that I was watching. And it's really a pleasure to kind of see that because the Joy Cons are so uniquely Nintendo at this point. They really you could say what you want about the old ones and maybe the drift factor if you were overplaying with them or something like that. But like it's a very uniquely Nintendo looking controller, the Joy-Con. So it's really nice that they up the game there. And I I'm let's talk about, if we may, let's talk about the list of like games that we know are coming out, because I know there's probably a varied aspect here. Like I still want it day one for what I saw. But like Craig, I know we kind of talked about it a little bit. Like
Yeah,
how
I
impressed
mean,
were you?
what day one for all of the 3 of us here who play just about every game, right? Or at least we try to.
Right.
Most of those third-party games we've already played, and we're not going to play them on the Switch, right?
Yeah,
So
or we would buy them on the other
yeah,
console.
not on the Switch, right?
Yeah.
So like for somebody like us, I would consider us more of like the core gamer group, right? You have Mario Kart day one, right? Donkey Kong's not day one. It's what, a
Correct.
month
Correct.
later?
About,
It's
yeah.
pretty close, but it's
Yeah.
not day one.
Right.
What else do we have?
So I was trying to think of like what day one would be for me besides
Yeah.
Mario Kart, and I think it would be a combination of maybe like upgraded Breath of the Wild, like playing other games to kind of see what it looks like with the
Sure.
minimal upgrade. At this point, I think the reason why I'd be particularly adamant about it is because the uncertainty of having a console when Donkey Kong comes out. Like
Yeah.
we don't like I don't know inventory that well. Well, not that well, not at all, because I don't work for Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe this is where we pull out the nostalgic gamer card, where it's like I just want to have the console day one because I'm a core gamer. Maybe
Maybe.
that's what would be
So-
clouding my judgment a little
What
bit.
I have here is the launch games.
Mm-hmm.
Is Arcade Archives 2, Ridge Racer, Bravely Default, Flying Fairy HD Remaster, Cyberpunk, Deltarune, Fast Fusion, Fortnite, Hitman, Hogwarts Legacy, Kinitsugami, Mario Kart World, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which we are going to get.
Ooh,
to
that's
that.
it. Never mind. That's what I want to play day one.
Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening. We got Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, Rune Factory, Civ 7, Split Fiction, Street Fighter, I think that's 6, Street Fighter thing, Survival Kids, the 2 enhanced versions of Legend of Zelda, and Yakuza 0.
Yeah. So Mario Kart's the only thing I'd be playing.
So Mario Kart would be the only thing, really.
And part of me is like, the Donkey Kong thing is fine. Like, I want to play Donkey Kong, but I only want to play it because it looks like Odyssey.
Yeah.
But it's Donkey Kong.
It looks pretty amazing.
Yeah. Other than that, like, and again, it's gonna sell well because there's gonna be nothing else to play. You're gonna be, I don't know, I'm not gonna say you're gonna be completely done with Mario Kart a month in. I know I will be. I'm not a play Mario Kart for 2 years on end type of person. Not like by myself. I feel like I'm going to play that for like a week or two, and then my Switch is going to sit, and then I'll play through Donkey Kong for a week or two, and then it's going to sit like my Switch does now, because there's nothing else. I don't know.
I don't know. I think that's valid. It's funny because like I didn't even think that I was doing this for the reason that I was, but I don't know if I said it on while we were recording or not, but I haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles yet because I bought that game specifically, and I wasn't going to play it until I got a Switch 2. And like for somebody like me, I'm kind of glad I did that, because that would be something to get me through those medium things.
Sure.
I think it's cool that we live in a world where there is an exclusive FromSoft game coming out for the Switch 2. Now, Whether I want to play that as badly as I wanted to play Elden Ring is a different story. I think I want to give it a whirl, but I might as well try Night Ring first because it's essentially Night Ring on the Switch with a Bloodborne background. And I don't mean to offend, but I low key thought it was Bloodborne 2 Devil May Cry. I went through 8 emotions during that first 15 seconds. I was like, is this Devil May Bloodborne? Like, so but I think it's cool that we live in a world where there's an exclusive to the Switch or like Switch 2 from Soft game. And let me also add, because I know we're going to stay Nintendo, that FromSoft did affirm and reaffirm that they are not moving away from single player games just because two dropped out in like the same in within a year of each other, or will within a year of each other.
And that game is that game this year? Or not? Is it next year?
I think it is.
The one for Switch.
Wait, it might be next year.
From Software.
I did not see a date.
Okay. So probably not this year, to be fair.
Probably not.
Okay. So, and I did do some digging on my part too. Pro Controller obviously does work with the Switch too, but they did say that it won't wake the system. So you can't just grab your Switch controller, Pro Controller, jump on the couch and hit the power button. You're going to have to actually go over and hit it on the actual console. Not that big of a deal, but it was something that I was interested in because I literally just bought my Pro Controller like last year, and I really didn't want to have to buy another one. And I don't care about the C button. I don't know about you guys, but I could care less.
That's going to be the button I don't use.
Yeah. So
I'm not going to use that button.
Barry.
Yes.
Barry.
What is your price that you say I'm out?
Ooh.
What is it?
Should we guess first, Greg?
Like hard price. Like if it gets to this point, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Should we guess first, Craig?
I don't know. That's tough.
I wanted to guess something totally weird that would not be a price, like $515. There's no way they would make it that price, though. That doesn't make sense.
You're not far off from my guess. From my personal, it's $520.
$520. Okay.
And on top of that, they better be like, if they have to raise the price because of this Tarot stuff and it goes to $520, they better be including a year's worth of that expansion pass.
Okay.
That can be given. That can be given to people.
That could be given to people. I think that they could financially see that that's not that large of a hit. If they have to raise this price, hopefully this is what they're doing right now with reassessing, is adding stuff to packages or to the package deal that benefits the gamer the most it possibly can.
And also don't be fooled. I know they said to reevaluate tariffs, but they also saw how pissed we were about the cost of the games.
Yeah, there's a chance that there's nothing else other than like they got to find out a way to decrease the cost of Mario Kart, like selling it at a loss for whatever.
Right. Yeah, we're doing what everybody does, which is speculating off of, like, we're trying to understand the best that we can without having the inside information.
Yeah, read between the lines.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you probably have the highest price threshold where you will still buy.
Probably.
All right, so what is it? What's your hard no?
600.
You think it's 600? What do you got?
I think it's
700.
So,
like, for sure, you would not buy it if it got past that point.
I think it's 600 for me, and I'll tell you that even I'm punching myself metaphorically in the face because I have a hard time justifying spending the same or more amounts of money than the PlayStation 5. Which literally makes everything look beautiful. I played Spider-Man 2 on that, and I forgot what was real in terms of outside versus inside. You look out the window after looking at that game, you're like, which one is the game?
Yep.
Which one is am I Spider-Man? So
it's in a simulation, so
yes.
Yeah. So I have a hard time justifying that because we already know it's not gonna, like, maximum overdrive overclocked not perform better than the PlayStation 5. It's just not. It's not built to. Yeah. But you're telling me and they haven't come out with anything definitive yet, but you can't tell me that I would pay more for that for Donkey Kong, for specific IPs that I wouldn't be able to play on PlayStation. So I don't know, guys. At 600
I
is a good guess, but I would be a very angry 550 if that's where it went.
I'm more so nervous that like if they come out and they're like, all right, so due to the tariffs, we got to raise it to $5.99, right? Just as using that number, that Microsoft and Sony are also going to be like, all right, cool, let's raise ours too. You know,
Yeah,
because
I don't think it's beyond like a doubt where Mario Kart sold so much for Nintendo,
Mhm.
where like Nintendo now has a bunch of third party support, as we all saw with the games that are coming out there. I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, guys, we will take the hit to see how it goes.
Mhm.
Because people are going to buy Mario Kart no matter what.
Yeah,
There are people blind to the fact that, like, oh, wait, there's a game, Mario Kart. Oh, that's right. It was with my son's Switch last time and that's all he played. So they're going to get it without looking at the price or caring about it, really.
you
So
really think people
You
in this economy though are going to look at $90 and not blink for a game?
when
I
that bundle came out, like the Mario Kart 8 with Switch, I'd say yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say I think now it is a little bit different, which
sure.
maybe they weren't as prepared for.
Yeah, caught them off
here's the
guard.
here's the other thing too that I want to. This is what helps me get to sleep every night, guys. Is that if there
Without a
is
bet.
a yeah, if there is a company that has proven through their pricing that the console doesn't matter. We're not making money on the console. What we are making money on are the years and years and years. Like Craig, your Mario Kart thing. That's probably as long as I'll play this new Mario Kart. Do I
Yeah.
still want it day one? Heck yeah, because it's the same thing with Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with any Mario that comes out. There's a large demographic where it's Fire Emblem. I started playing Fire Emblem 4 years ago. Now I will buy every Fire Emblem, regardless of whether I think I like it or not. Xenoblade Chronicles. There's something about it. You know how people say McDonald's fries are crack, like, and there's something like in there that makes them taste so good. There's something about the McDonald's situation because, like, I don't have the same feeling about Assassin's Creed. I've been playing Assassin's Creed for years. I've skipped the last two. So Nintendo IPs do something. And I hope that they take a step back and they say, you know what, let's not raise the price. Let's be confident in the fact that it's not about the hardware. It's about us doing this and then re-releasing stuff. Let's do the Last of Us kind of thing on a couple of our major games or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? And let's see it come back in the down the road. I don't know. That's what I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm 500 is my limit. If it goes any higher, I'm not buying it, and that's with Mario Kart. I'm not. I just don't. There's not enough value in it for me. If they would, if it would have came out instead of Donkey Kong and been Mario Odyssey, then I would be more willing to go 550. You know, because I love Mario Odyssey, but Donkey
Yeah.
Kong is fine. It's not doing it for me, and all those other games play better on Xbox or PlayStation or PC. I have all those other things. I don't really need a Switch. So
Yeah, I do wonder if they'll do the same thing they did with the Nintendo 3DS. So when that launched, it was too expensive. In two
yep,
weeks or maybe 2 months later, they dropped the price.
yep,
So as an early adopter, Nintendo gave all the people who spent the money on like on the newer console, the max price, a bunch of digital games. I
yep.
do wonder whether or not Nintendo would be prepared to do that again.
I mean, they don't want another Wii U for sure.
No, yeah,
Not saying that this Switch 2 is going to be the
Yeah.
Wii U. I don't think that's possible, but I don't know. I think everybody was very just like 500. Are you kidding me? All right, you know. And if they come back and like, all right, it's 550. I think they're going to be surprised how many people are like, nah, I'm good. I don't need it.
yeah. That's a massive amount of money.
It
That it
is.
is. It's
Yeah.
hard to tell people like, yeah, no, this is how much it's going to cost now after telling you one thing.
Right.
But
What's your limit on GTA price wise?
I think if anything, this proves or like kind of sets the stage. GTA will be $90.
Yeah, or 100.
I think they'll stick to 90.
If
I
they
feel like
go,
that. I feel like that
go
triple
ahead.
digit is what scares them the most.
Yep.
Triple
Like
digit.
getting
Yeah,
to getting to 100.
Yep.
right. That would be feasible for me when I think of longevity of a GTA game. Because even if you didn't play a lick online, a normal GTA experience takes you that far, and I don't know. It's uh, it's a very interesting time we live in.
It is.
And one of the things too that I just kind of did the math on, the lowest they could charge for the game is $94.99, and it will just be over $100 with tax, at least in
Yeah.
our state here in PA. So
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like 90, maybe 94.99 kind of deal there, where I just feel like, yes, GTA will sell like gangbusters when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Look, if it stays at 70, then I feel like Rockstar will be very happy and people will be very happy with it.
Right.
But who
I mean,
knows?
they already said recently that they're not releasing anything about GTA until it's much closer to launch, so they can keep the hype. All they're gonna have to do is drop that trailer with the release date, and we won't even see what the price is. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? We're just gonna be like pre-order. We won't care. So if they come out and say 90, I think 90 is probably a good guess, but I would not be surprised if they tested 100. And if like GTA doesn't sell 100, I would be shocked if people said no. I honestly would. I think people are still going to be like 100. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Quick question for you guys. I don't have all the Kirby lore. And I'm sorry to take this in a different direction, but Kirby Air Ride,
Uh huh.
Yes.
never played it. Is it a racing game?
Um, in a sense, yeah. It was one of those games where I'll try to explain Kirby Air Riders 2 to you. It's very strange. But you and your friends, other Kirby's or computer Kirby's, would be dropped into a random map. Your goal was to find a cart, an air rider, so to speak, and there are different types of air riders with different speed, different glide, different attack, defense. You would then spend your time once you got your glider, trying to upgrade its stats. And at the end of I think 5 minutes or something,
I think so.
you
Yeah.
you would get put into a mini game that was random, that nobody really knew what it was. So sometimes, you would get this, you could get like a super fast car, but it does not fly well. And the mini game would be who can fly the farthest distance. So it'd be one of those things where it's hard. It's a fun mini game. Like I played it as a kid and I had fun with it. Whether or not
Oh,
it still holds up would be an interesting. I
Right.
do feel like you have to make it some sort of racer in order to do something more with it. Like, don't
yeah.
get me wrong, Air Riders was fun, but it definitely lacked other game modes.
The reason why I'm asking is it's slated for a release this year, right?
I believe so.
I did not
So
see a release trailer, or I did not see a date on it, so that might be on my bad.
the only reason I asked is why would you release something like Air Riders if it was a racing game if you have Mario Kart releasing launch day? So that's why I was asking what was the difference, because like when I saw that as the dessert
Mm-hmm.
of the Switch announcement, I was like, why would you? How many people would be running out to buy Kirby Air Riders right after? And I
More
could
than
be
you
completely
think.
wrong.
More than
Yeah.
you think.
Okay.
Yeah, and if there's enough time between Mario Kart and Air Riders, you'd have more people willing to just be like, "Oh, it's a new Nintendo first party game. I'm gonna buy it."
And it is produced by Masahiro Sakurai, who is
Yes,
the producer for the Smash Bros. Series.
Right.
I'm sure it'll be fun. Honestly.
Yeah. I was just wondering if it was like how close it was to Mario Kart, but you did a great job explaining it, Barry. It sounds, I mean, if they have that and they have a racing mode and other modes, then it is a different game. It is a different game than what Mario Kart would be.
Yeah.
Greg, I know you wanted to get a little bit into this. I know we've talked about the Switch already for almost 40 minutes. The Nintendo tour game, if you will, for
Yeah.
example,
Let's
being a
go.
digital game.
I'm ready.
Interesting. I did watch Nintendo's Treehouse on
Mm-hmm.
this game. There are mini games to be played,
Sure.
but does this not feel a bit too close to like, oh, Nintendo had such a huge hit with Astrobot? Let's make a really, really, really cheap version of that and charge people for it. That's the vibe I got.
They're idiots.
Yeah.
Because they are. Because first of all, when they were showing it, I'm sure I'm not alone in thinking like, oh, that's cool. Like they're kind of trying to do what Sony did with Astro's Playroom when the PS5 came out. I get that. That's a smart move. But when they said it was a paid download, I'm like, you guys are so greedy. It's ridiculous. Because number one, anytime you do something like this, it's going to be compared to Astrobot, which is a game of the year, right? But Astro's Playroom was still a fantastic, already installed on your console experience when you booted up your PS5. It was a perfect way to get to know your PS5. So I get the idea. I just the thought process thinking that people are going to pay $10 for that garbage is insane to me. That should have been on the Switch for free. I don't know what they're thinking other than they're greedy.
You know what's funny, Craig? Remember how you said when Fire Emblem came on the screen that you heard Barry in your own home? Like when that came on the screen, I feel like I heard you being like, "They're idiots."
They're just it's such
You're gonna pay me to learn. You're gonna pay me to
move.
learn. Or I have to pay you to learn about the Switch instead of just figuring it out myself.
And then to try and sell it of like, look, you can like putt golf balls. Shut up. Just shut up. Astrobot was like they gave themselves a new mascot and then turned it into a game of the year down the road. This is like go putt a ball so you can learn how to, and if you really want, you can go to the different parts and read about it. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody.
Right.
You know, one of the things too that I just came into my head, if they do end up raising the price for this console, I could see this bundled in.
Yeah, true.
Justify it too.
Yeah, I'm sure they felt the heat on that one. They had to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when during the Nintendo Treehouse event, and this kind of is about the Switch as well. All they was spamming was lower the price. That's all people were spamming, and I think, like, as much as you can say lower the price, they do not care until you vote with your wallet. And how this is going to work is people are going to buy this thing regardless. Like, as much as people want to like vote with their wallets and hope other people do. People are going to buy the Switch for the sake of buying the Switch. They want to Switch 2. They want to play their Switch games on a modern console, and they're going to pay it. And they're going to pay for the games regardless of the price. That is just a large majority of people in the United States that will do that. So.
Yeah, can I ask you guys a question too? And like, I may be unpopular in this opinion, but it's not like I sided with Nintendo. But we were discussing in the weeks leading up to this what we thought the price would be. And, you know, we kind of over-undered, and some of us had different, you know, some of us thought 400. I think I thought it was 400, or I forget. But there's like this outcry, and this is before the, you know, we don't know when the pre-order date is now kind of thing. There was an outcry as soon as that 450 tag was thrown on there. But how much do they really have to work with? An OLED Switch is $350. You're almost like if you're the one company of this size that's thinking only about the public and not about your pockets, you're locked into 400 because what else can you do? Because 450 is apparently way too much, but you did improve the system, and I think they did a good job in that 55 minutes to an hour showing us what they did. But it's like, what else could they do? Like, it was either going to be 400 or 450 probably when we saw this, and it was just the wrong one. Like, I don't know where my ending point is, but do you guys kind of see where I'm going with it? It's like
I mean, the answer was $399, in my opinion. I think that everybody would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. Right in between where the Xbox and the PlayStation is, but still able to play a lot of the same games. I think $399 was perfect. I think $450 is reaching. And I don't again, like the price of the console was not what pissed me off. It was the games.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what makes me mad. $90. I'm like, get out of here. Especially for Mario Kart. Give me a break.
So then here's the last point I want to make. What was the PS4 when the PS4 launched?
$399, wasn't it?
It's $350 from what I see. So that means the PS5 was a $150 price jump. Does anybody remember the PS5
PS5 was
getting?
$499.
No, does
Or
yeah? I'm saying, does anybody remember like an outcry of the
yeah.
PlayStation of
Now
the
I know what you're
pricing
saying.
of the PlayStation?
Yeah.
The PlayStation jumped $150
Right.
and had a similar amount of lifespan.
Yeah, but
So
we're talking about really pushing the envelope as far as what console gaming is doing.
right,
That Switch is like Mario Kart's fine, but I don't know about you guys, but it didn't look that much different than Mario Kart on the Switch now, other
right.
than it's open world, open area, whatever you want to call it. I you know, like, where's the, if they would have came out and been like, all right, it's maybe a little ways off, but here's the new Zelda we're working on, and they showed it in 4K, and then you're gonna be like, oh yeah, $500. You know what I mean? Give me that. They didn't do that. They're like, here's Mario Kart. I didn't see that big of a jump graphics wise. I don't know about you guys. Look pretty much the same.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard to tell on a video like that. I think for what we wanted from an iteration of the Switch, it is everything other than an OLED screen.
Yep.
But you have to cut costs somewhere, and it is slightly larger. And the Joy-Cons, I believe, are probably heavily improved.
They seem like they are. Yeah.
Especially the larger like the larger shoulder buttons. I cannot tell you how big of an upgrade that feels like it'll be.
Mhm.
But at the end when I saw everything they were going for, the dock is getting an upgrade.
Yep.
I knew 450 to 500 right then and there. So
Yeah, let me and I apologize to everybody at home and to you too. It is 400, Craig, you were right. So it was $100 price jump from the PS4 to the PS5.
Yep.
From the original launch.
and remember, you
So-
had the option of a disc version or a discless.
Right.
It was $499 for the disc version.
Correct.
That's probably what I was. Yeah.
$449 for the discless version.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Series X was $499 as well.
Yeah.
When it came out.
I was just trying to see comparisons. I mean, that's a lot different. I mean, I think we're always to some degree going to complain about pricing. But like in a way, I think you're also right, Craig. 400 was where they should have landed. Probably they should have landed like initially.
Or
like
$449 is fine, but $70 games. That's it.
one of the
70, not 90.
But yeah, we will have to see primarily what goes on from here. We're also
Right.
kind of just in the wind with when we're allowed to pre-order it and if that price stays still. So as much as we can talk about price and things like that, we don't even know anymore. So, we did talk about the Switch 2 for almost 50 minutes. I hope everyone got their fill. I'd be interested to see if anybody thinks we missed something. I
we
spent
covered
way
it.
too much time today getting every single thing that I could.
I think we covered a crap ton. I think we covered almost, if not everything.
Oh, you know what? The Nintendo camera that you can buy. There is a PD Piranha one.
The Piranha one looks pretty sweet. By Ori.
Yeah.
I have a spare webcam laying around. I'll just plug that bad boy in.
Yep, that's exactly how I am too.
Right.
But so when we're getting into movies and games this week, I did not play or watch anything new. I'm watching series. I'm watching the new Dante.
Same.
Devil May Cry. I need to finish that. I'm watching Reacher again, so I got to get through a bunch of shows before I can even talk about it. So I will give the floor to you both.
So the only thing, honestly, literally the only thing I played this week was still First Berserker, and I'm starting to sour on that game quite a bit. I don't know. I know you're still probably enjoying it, Craig, but I just think the discrepancy, like, I really, really like the levels. They're fun. The spike in the bosses is too much.
It's a lot.
It's too much. Like, not every single boss. There was like one boss so far that I beat in like less than 10 tries. But I'm talking about, like, I get through a level and I'm having a good time, and then literally the next day or so is me doing 80 to 100 tries on a boss just to get by. And you're talking
Right.
about the point where you pause it and it's like, oh, the recommended level where I'm at now is like the recommended level is 49 and I'm like level 68 and I'm still just
Right.
getting wrecked. It's too
Right.
high. And I understand it's a Souls-like game, but like there it needs to be adjusted. It really does. Because the game's fun.
Yeah, it is. And I think that this is the only game I played this week
Yeah,
too, so I'll just
sure.
go into it too. I think what they were trying to perfect is the Neo
Yeah.
algorithm. However, while Neo's bosses were just as grand and sometimes even more grand than
Hmm.
the ones that are played here, there was if you and I stopped and like went back to some previous levels, grinded a little bit, and we're at level 68 on a level 49 level, you can kind of tell
Yep.
where there's still the challenge because every Souls game, if you sleep for a couple of moves, you die, like regardless of where you're at. But you're right, the difficulty spike is crazy. I'm on chapter or level chapter, I think it is chapter 7.
It's about where I'm
I
at. Yeah.
so the boss that you were talking about that probably took you less than 10 tries, for me, I think it was 5 or 10. Did you get to the spider?
Yep. That was an easy one.
That was an easy one.
Yep.
All right. But like everybody
Yeah.
everybody else demanded my attention and anger.
Yep.
And I just beat somebody today that I'll just say they wield 2 great swords. I don't know if
Yeah.
you
That's
beat
the
that
one I'm
person.
on. That's the one
That's
I'm
the one.
like done with. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't want to even,
That one's bad, man.
I don't even want to
That one's
try. You know what I mean? Because
that one's bad.
when you get to the point where you're like questioning, do I even want to play this game anymore? That's when you know something's wrong. And you can bump it down to easy if you want. But you're also like, I've come this far, you know, and like, do I really want to do that and give up just to see the end of the game? Because I'm going to be honest, I don't care about the story at all.
No,
It's
no.
just like mush, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, I don't care. You know, I'm just here for the, you know, the what's my next armor set. And like, I even
Yeah.
try to like switch out armor sets in between tries. Let me try this one.
Same.
Let me try this one. And it's just like, you're just going up against it. And like that guy specifically, he's got 2 phases, right?
He does.
And you get through the first phase and no problem. But that second phase, it's
With
like
the
you
katana.
you can't even
Yeah.
do anything, you know? And it's just
It's
like, all
bad.
right, this is beyond, to me, it's beyond like get good into just being unfair just to be unfair, you
Mhm.
know?
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't, my time for gaming is limited right now. Do I really want to waste it on this? You
Yeah.
know, like, I don't know if I
I'll
do.
I'll tell you straight up, I got so fed up. The only reason I beat him, and I have no problem telling anybody this, if you played this game, you have no problem being cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up a video on somebody beating him in 3 minutes, and that person was using what I wasn't using at all, which is those throwables. They come
Yep.
in fire, water, whatever,
Yep.
and you just throw it at him, and it just sucks his life down. And like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the first time somebody's cheesed that in
Right.
a Souls game. Um, and I just got lucky with the RNG where he wasn't hitting me.
Yeah.
He just missed me a couple more times than he normally did, and I walked away unscathed. Well, not unscathed,
Right.
uh,
Right.
but it shouldn't feel like that every round
No.
and or every level. There should be those level spikes in not waves, but different sporadically to let you know you're at a different part of the game.
Yeah.
Not every level. Like I need to know I'm at a different part of the game when you throw me at a boss like that. But if I get it, yeah. So that's. I'll tell you the one thing this game does do for me. I do enjoy playing it until I get to a boss. It's almost like you're like waiting for a test that you didn't study for, so you're like nervous every time you get to a boss. But there is a holy s moment that will make it at the end of the year. The first boss that has the 2 stages,
Mm-hmm.
when he gets into his second mode and it gets dark and he just dives at you and swipes. I thought that was super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I they they totally took things that early in the game for a boss to have that. Now the 2 forms wasn't fun to beat,
No.
but
Yeah.
I thought that that moment where he makes everything dark, you can only see his eyes, and then you just see his silhouette swiping at you, and then he goes back and does it again. I thought that was a cool thing for them to add.
Yeah, I just don't. In my mind, while I'm playing it, I don't know if it's right or wrong. I'm just like, this game is not a top 10 game of the year for me. I don't think it is. So, like, do I really want to keep going? And for now, I'm like, sure. But we also have, pretty big game coming out on Game Pass this week that I'm like, I'll probably I
Yes.
will drop it immediately to go play that.
Immediately.
And am I going to go back to it? We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
Right.
That's a.
I don't know.
Did you play anything else? Or was it just that?
I literally
Okay.
it's a job playing that
It-
game. So I've only been playing I've been only trying to beat bosses.
The only thing I watched, and I did want to throw this out there, is I did brave the sea of mob to go see Minecraft on Friday.
Oh,
Do tell. Do tell.
didn't expect that one.
I know.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. My daughter has been like all over wanting to see it. She doesn't even really like. We played Minecraft when she was little, but like she doesn't really
Yes.
care about Minecraft.
Yeah.
But it's just like the meme right now is Minecraft. So a bunch of her friends wanted to go, so we all went and watched it, and it's real dumb, but it's real funny. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was laughing quite a bit. Jack Black, he deserves some sort of award for figuring out a way to get paid to make a movie where he gets to show up and just wear a blue t-shirt. He didn't have to shave his beard. He just, you know what I mean? It's like he rolled out of bed and was just like, I'm Steve. I'm here. Let's play some
Yeah.
Minecraft. He's not Steve. He's just Jack Black the whole movie. And I don't have like a deep knowledge of Minecraft, so I'm sure a lot of the jokes went over my head, but consistently laughing the entire time. So
Okay.
I think it's a very well done movie for sure. Do you need to see it in theaters? I mean, that's up to you, I guess.
Right.
If my kid did not want to go, would I have went? Absolutely not. I would have waited to see it
Absolutely
streaming,
not.
but I saw it and I enjoyed it, so I'll leave it at that.
All right, and then I only watched one thing. Hard Eyes.
Oh yeah.
Very good.
Nice.
Very good. And I think that you described it correctly, Craig. It's like a romantic comedy with killing.
Yep.
And I think that's where they nail it. Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding, their dynamic was really, really nice. Devon Sawa, who is one of my wife's favorite actors, just like growing up and all the stuff that he's been in, was awesome in it. And Jordana Brewster was also very good in it as well. It was just a nice cast. The kills were good. The kills were very, very good. And I thought that the ending was well put together enough. I was worried that they may not have stuck the landing, but it was actually pretty refreshing. I think people should see this. I think this is a date movie. I think this is a Halloween movie. I think this is a I think this is a
It's a Valentine's Day movie.
It's a
Just
Valentine's Day
say
movie. It is. It's a Valentine's Day movie, and I know there's some couples out there that this specifically appeals to. So it's fantastic. I think it's gonna. I don't know how many movies I'm gonna watch that'll be in the top 10 this year, but I want to kind of say this will be somewhere. Maybe not in top 5, but I'd love a strong 6 or 7 out of this one. I don't know. I don't know where it's gonna land.
It's in my top 10 for now. Plenty of movies left to go, but for now it is. Yeah.
Right. That's all I got.
All right then, everybody. Hopefully you got enough Switch 2 out of this podcast. I think let's be honest. I'm gonna be still listening to more podcasts about the Switch 2 in the game.
Same.
For it. Man, the life of a consumer and capitalism, I suppose. Nevertheless, I want to thank everybody that comes and supports us every week or just one time if you happen to stumble across this episode. I'm going to try and name it aptly so that way people click on it.
Yep.
If you are on your podcast listening platform of choice, please make sure to leave a star rating, leave a like rating, and a review. Let us know what you think we could do better and what we did well. We'd appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, please make sure to like the video and subscribe. That helps us out. Comment below, what are you most excited for about the Switch? What are your worries about the Switch 2? Just give us Switch 2. And whoever is the few people that are probably annoyed with the First Berserker Khazan, just comment, and that way Craig knows he's not alone.
Please. Please help me.
Please help me.
But we always appreciate the support every week we get from you guys. So thank you so much. Enjoy your week. And who knows, maybe next week we'll have a Switch 2 pre-order date. We'll let you know if we got it. Maybe not. Maybe it's $600. And if it is,
Nope.
I'm not getting it.
Nope. Fair.
Enjoy your week, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey guys.
See ya.